investigative reporter Sara Carter, former DOJ official Victoria Tunsing, Fox News legal analyst Greg Jarrett. Sara, this is your blockbuster. The FBI supervisor, he's the same one that interviewed Hillary. Tell everybody everything this guy was involved in, and he's anti-Trump and he's pro-Clinton.
Well, I think, Sean, that what concerns most intelligence officials and FBI officials that I've spoken to about Peter Strzok is that he was so overt about his politics. And remember, this was a complaint I reported on your show months ago. April, June, July, where I was talking about how FBI officials, the guys working on the ground, working on these cases, were stunned that some of their higher ups seemed very partisan to Hillary Clinton, and they were going after Trump and Trump campaign officials. And Michael Flynn was one of them. And you brought something up that's very important when you talked about the unmasking. Remember, there were reports all through December, and then after Susan Rice denied that she unmasked and later admitted that she unmasked, then people started to tell stories like, well, we were concerned about the way other nations were going to feel, so we needed to hear what they were saying about the election of President Trump. They came up with all kinds of stories. What we see now, based on this evidence, based on the fact that we know now Peter Strzok interviewed Flynn, that he was involved in the Hillary Clinton email server investigation, one of the central key players.
They exonerated. Nobody gets exonerated before an investigation is complete. Now he's trashing Trump, and then he's going after Flynn. Let me go from the legal side. Let me ask Greg Jarrett. As you point out, how many other members of Robert Mueller's special counsel harbor blatant pro-Clinton, anti-Trump bias? And you have another column you're writing.
And corrupt purposes, yes. And look, Mueller stacked his entire staff, almost his entire staff, with Democratic donors, as you point out. They were not reviewed or vetted.
Any Republican
donors?
donors?
Scrutiny, not that we're aware of. But what's curious is, given the makeup, the composition of his staff, how many others have sent out these virulently anti-Trump email messages? Rod Rosenstein, the Intel Committee, as well as the Inspector General, need to look into the email messages of every other member of Mueller's staff and begin with Andrew Weissman. Why? Because Weissman has very close ties with a lawyer he hired at the Department of Justice who sent out anti-Trump tweets and retweets, and who was there at an anti-Trump protest. Her name is Wei Chen. Did Weissman send such emails to Wei Chen? That needs to be looked into.
Let me ask about this obvious agenda-driven team. Victoria, how can any of this hold up an exoneration before an investigation? Anti-Trump, pro-Hillary, and he's involved in all of it. Tell me how any judge would say this is admissible in any way.
Well, I don't, if you get the right judge, of course it's not going to be, but let me just add something else to the Andrew Weissman scenario, and that is, remember I told you about the fraud section lawyers who threatened to prosecute my client, Mr. Campbell, if he didn't withdraw his civil case?
Yes.
Guess who they reported to? Andrew Weissman.
Well, I'd like to know, by the way, I'm hearing rumors all over the place, Sara Carter. There are other anti-Trump text emails out there, and we know about them.
I think you're hearing correctly, Sean, and I think a lot more is going to come out. In fact, I know a lot more is going to come out based on the sources I've spoken to. The Inspector General's report and investigation is ongoing. Parts of that report are expected to come out before the end of December, and the rest of it is expected to come out after the first of the year. I think we're going to be stunned at what they uncover.
I want to ask this. Isn't it obstruction of justice? I'll start with Victoria first. Isn't it obstruction of justice if Comey is exonerating and using this guy to exonerate Hillary before they even investigated, and this guy changes the language? That sounds to me just like Hillary destroying emails and BleachBit and busting up Blackberries. That all sounds like obstruction of justice to me.
Well, I don't know that it's obstruction of justice, but it is a corrupt FBI that did this. In the hierarchy, there are so many good FBI agents below, and I'm sure they're as shocked as we are about the conduct that's going on. But don't make too much over this change of this wording. I mean, I scratched my head when Comey said it was extremely careless. Well, if I
So
were a
legal
judge
standard.
giving, but if I were giving a jury instruction, I would say to them, gross negligence is like careless, grossly careless or extremely careless. They're synonymous.
No difference.
So,
In fact, there's a standard jury instruction that says they're synonymous. But what happened here is it looks like Peter Strzok was trying to conjure some way to clear Hillary Clinton. So he changed the language because extremely careless isn't actually in the statute, which makes it a crime, even though obviously initially Comey knew she had committed a crime. So here you've got a guy, for corrupt purposes, it appears, cleared Hillary Clinton and signed the papers launching the investigation against Donald Trump because he hates Donald Trump and loves Hillary Clinton.
This is all going to collapse. That is my prediction tonight. Thank you all for being with us.